So this is my YouTube studio. A lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of money has gone into building this studio out. It is part of my 3-bedroom townhouse in West Seattle, and this bedroom is dedicated specifically for my YouTube studio. There's a special feeling every time I step into it because I know I've built this completely from scratch. One thing that's important about home studios, YouTube studios, content studios is the personality behind the creator. So there's a lot of things that are just me. There's a lot of things that just represent me as a person, me as a creator, and that's the beauty of this studio. I'm so excited for this video. I've been waiting months for it to get to the point where I was ready to show it off to the world, and I think we're here at this point. So with that, let's check out my new home studio. So the editing setup has been moved around a couple times. It started out with basically, no matter what, 2 L-shaped desks. These are 2 desks from FlexiSpot. I have a full review linked up top of my video on building these desks. And the one behind me right here acts as my editing station. The beauty of this desk is how long it is. I decided to go with the longer desk for my editing setup, just having multiple monitors and having more room to move around just because I'm at that desk a lot more than I am at the desk I shoot at. What powers the desk behind me is my 16-inch MacBook Pro M1 Max. It's HDMI plugged into a Dell monitor, which is my secondary screen. I mostly edit on that and then bring it over to the Mac to color just because the Mac has a better screen with the Pro display to be able to color and see accurate colors. I have my DaVinci Resolve speed editor. I have a video linked up here on that whole thing, but using the speed editor has really changed up my workflow and made it a lot more seamless when I am in the cut tab and able to move down the line of different tabs that DaVinci Resolve has to offer. We have my keyboard, which is the Keychron K3 Pro, and one thing is I never thought a keyboard could make that much of a difference, but purchasing this keyboard has really made my life a lot easier not using the keyboard on my laptop. Mechanical keyboards and the clickiness, there's just something satisfying about it, and it's fun to see how these keyboards work, and I've gotten a lot of them, tested a lot of them out, and by far the Keychron is my favorite so far. And then the mouse is the Logitech MX 3S for Mac. I've had a Logitech mouse well before this mouse, and it's just my favorite mouse. I opt out of using the Magic Mouse just because I've never hated a product as much as I hate that product. And then the headphones that basically run this system is I have the AirPods Max, and then I have the AirPods Pro 2nd generation. And those are the 2 headphones that I use when I'm editing video. I like to listen to it out loud, and then when I do my second pass of audio, throw on some headphones to see what they sound like with some noise cancellation within the headphones. And then finally, my newest addition, as you can see, are some of the plants back here. I got a snake plant and some other plants back here just to green up the area and give it a little bit more life. And it's kind of soothing to be able to look at plants while you're editing, and it's something that I've always had fake plants, but having real plants and having a little bit of a responsibility to not kill them is sort of a nice thing for the studio. And I can't forget to talk about my essential oil humidifier that I have in here. It doesn't just let off a great scent, it looks so cool with all of the lights and plants in here. It's just another piece of this atmosphere. So this is my main A-roll setup, and this is where I shoot almost all of my talking heads. And it's built off of the FlexiSpot desk, which I had in my old apartment, and I moved it over here to be the starting piece of what I've created with my L desk. Basically, my A-roll setup is set up off of 4 main aspects: the backdrop, the lighting, the audio, and the camera. So first we'll start off with the backdrop. As you can see, this is my consistent backdrop, and this has not changed through a lot of my previous videos. What has changed is that part of my backdrop now is my editing setup right here. And I'm able to have this in the shot, which is nice and adds a little bit of texture and a little bit more of a look of behind the scenes and how these videos come to life. So I like having that in the shot. Next thing I'm gonna talk about is lighting. And the first thing you'll notice is the practical lights in my shot. And as I turn off the lighting here, you'll be able to see kind of the lights that make up this entire room. So the first of the practicals is the Philips Hue light bulbs. And these are my first practicals that are set up. And then from there, I jump in and I have my next practical, which I have acting as my hair light. And this is the Aperture 2TC. And then the next one is my main light, which is the 100X. And this has a softbox on it with a grid. And that ultimately lights me up altogether. And this is the lighting setup I go go for within my studio. So you can see there's a mix of practical lights, but also mixed in with some studio lights. The next thing is the audio. Right now I'm shooting on the Sennheiser MKE 600. It is a mic that is set up on a boom pole right here. And this is ultimately the mic I use when I'm shooting A-roll, where I'm gonna use my hands a lot, or there's gonna be a lot of B-roll and stuff covering, and I want more of a traditional interview setup. The next mic I use for these A-roll setups, a lot on my YouTube channel you've probably seen, and that's my pod mic. And I like that to feel more of a personal video. A lot less cutting, a lot less B-roll, and more of a conversation with me and the camera. So that's really when I ultimately bring that mic into it. And then lastly, the camera. This is all powered by one camera and one camera only, and it is the Sony FX3. And then it's powered by one lens and one lens only, the Sony 16-35 f2.8 G Master. And this combo is what I shoot all of my content with. It's all shot on this. It's all shot in S-Log3. I have a couple filters here and there I put on if I need an ND filter. I have a bloom filter on here right now with about a 10% mist on it. But that's ultimately what my camera setup is. And I love Sony and I love the FX3. And ultimately, I'm extremely blessed and happy that I was able to go this route and have this as my main camera for all of my A-roll, all of my B-roll, and whatever I'm shooting for content. So I talk so much about personality and how you have to have personality when it comes to your YouTube studio to make it feel like your own and ultimately make your content something special. So for me, I have so many things that are special to me just throughout this room, and it starts on my shelf of kind of memorabilia, and I have a lot of the first generation iPods, the iPhone 3G. I have a lot of vintage cameras because those mean something to me, a lot of film cameras. I have some of my favorite photos I've taken on my wall. I have New York City and the Brooklyn Bridge. I have a picture I took from the top of the Space Needle in Seattle, and I have a lot of other ones that are going to be making their way in here. But then I also have some things. When I was in Alaska, I went into this random store and I saw this poster with just a bunch of cameras and how cameras work, and I thought, perfect addition to my studio. So that's what's right here, is this poster of a camera. I have a lot of greenery in here. I've never been a greenery type of person. I've always had fake plants, but I wanted to get some real plants and see if I could keep something alive in this room, and that's ultimately another piece that I'm trying to make special to me. Another thing that was really important to me when building out this studio was storage, because I have a lot of gear, and I have this Husky tool chest behind me that I have all of my camera gear in, and I have it layered. So one drawer is lighting, one drawer is audio, one drawer is camera, one drawer is tripods and Ronins and stuff. And I have all of that stuff in there, and I have a tabletop that I can build cameras on and put some of the important things that I might want in a shot, like my Fuji X-T3 up there. So it's nice to be able to have that, and storage was something that was really important to me to keep this room clean at all times, to make shooting easier, to make editing easier, and just building out a vibe-friendly workplace. All right, that's it. That's my tour of my home studio. And like I mentioned at the start of this video, the most important thing to me when I was building this studio was to have personality in it and make it not feel like everyone else's studio you see on YouTube or the internet or whatever it may be, and have this studio have a personality to me. But I'm extremely blessed to be in this position, to be able to have my own home studio where I can really close the door and focus on creating for this channel and this platform, and extremely blessed for you guys, my subscribers. But with that, there's gonna be so many more videos made in this studio, and I cannot wait. This was a fun one to create. I've been waiting months to do it. And do me a favor, leave a comment down below what your favorite part of this studio was. And with that, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.